as you're doing this work, you might have experiences, great peak experiences. You might have breakthroughs. You might have moments where like, whoa, you know? You might have these. I had one a couple of days ago, an event. And when I was at this event, I was, it was a social event, there was people, but it was also very spiritual. And there was one moment in particular where I had my eyes closed. I felt this incredibly sedating peace. And from this deep state of peace that I was feeling, emerged this voice. It's like an inner voice, just spoke. And it said, I don't want anything from anyone. Imagine not needing anything from anyone. Because, usually you might want at least one thing from one person, right? Just one thing, one person. Not in this experience, man. Because there were people around me. There was a nice woman. I didn't want anything from anyone. And I wish I could give it to you somehow. I wish I could package it up and just throw it to you, and you could be like, thank you. Thank you very much. I can't. Because it's an experience. But I can tell you what I learned from this. So first thing I would mention is the relief. I would mention the relief. You have no idea how much your ego subtly craves attention and things from people. Love, validation, emotional support, just all kinds of things. And the relief when you release that desire to manipulate other people, because you do want to manipulate other people, I promise you. Even if you'll deny it, but if you look inward, you can see that your mind by nature is manipulative. Why? Because it wants to survive, right? So of course it wants to get stuff from other people, because if it does, it's better at surviving. And so with this experience that I had, we could say there was like a collapse of this, a collapse of the ego, a collapse of the ego structure, whatever you want to call it. And can you just imagine the relief? I mean, here's one thing. I've noticed that I struggle to imagine what it would be like. When people speak about ego death experiences or even just spiritual experiences in general, even if you've had a lot, I find that it's hard to imagine them. You know why? Because almost by definition, you can't imagine them because you're trying to get at an experience which you're not having. And obviously your imagination is limited and it's not really getting it. Even if you have had the experience, you're like, yeah, but you're not getting it because obviously the only thing that is true for you is your direct experience. So in other words, what's happening for you now. And so do your best to try and get this, but I empathize if it's not, completely clear for you. But regardless, imagine just a deep relaxation in your being, in your body, in your mind, everything. Well, specifically, actually, it is in the mind. Sometimes I used to do this a lot. If you're having a really deep experience and you're really relaxed, don't attribute that to the body. Because when you get really deep with this stuff, you realize that your body basically is contained within your mind. So in other words, your mind is prior to your body, right? You have your mind first, you have your consciousness first. Within that consciousness is your body. Do you feel the sensation of your body? Do you have the idea of your body, right? So your consciousness first, and then within that is your body. So this to say, during my experience, I wasn't just relaxed at the level of the body. I wasn't even just relaxed at the level of the mind. I was actually relaxed spiritually, meaning at the level of my consciousness. And to even have a sense of what that is, you have to have that direct experience. So again, I totally appreciate that there's a communication that's going on here between me and you, but there's like an inherent indirectness of this because you're having to imagine it. And I want you to notice that that is not it. And it's a little bit less satisfying that way. But at the same time, I don't want to limit you because you might have a very vivid imagination. You might have a very strong intuition. When I listen to people talking about spiritual experiences, near-death experiences, just, spiritual stuff, meditation and so on, I kind of feel like, yeah, I feel that when you describe it to me, right? So if you can feel it in any way, awesome, do that. But just remember, it's going to be indirect and it's not going to be the thing. The map is not the territory. So, what else was going on with this experience? I noticed a deep self-satisfaction. Sometimes if you meditate, you might be like, I'm really satisfied just with myself at the moment. We could even say self-satisfied, and I know that has another meaning. If I look up self-satisfied right here, it says excessively satisfied with oneself or one's achievements. Smugly complacent, right? But, we're not using it in that sense. Imagine for a second if we just popped a capital S on that self, and we said, big S, self, satisfied. I want you to imagine that we're speaking about your real self, your true self, your higher self. That's what we talk about a lot of the time. And I'll put it this way: imagine if you can feel that. But it's not just that you can feel that when you're meditating, for example, but you're really, really satisfied with feeling it. So much so that you're like, yeah, I don't actually need anything else. For example, when I was having my experience, there were people around me. And to be honest, my past self definitely would have wanted stuff from those people. I might have wanted to exchange, phone numbers. I might have wanted to see if I could do something with them, meaning can I create like a date or something if there's an attractive person? But honestly, I didn't really connect with many people. But you know why? Because I was just sat there with myself. And, when I was younger and I used to go to events and stuff and I used to see someone sitting on their own, I used to kind of project like, man, that guy must be advanced. He's just sitting on his own. And you never really know. But in this particular scenario, I kind of felt like that person who just consciously wasn't connecting with others because he wanted to be with himself. But I was really like aware during it, like, wow, my ego is quietened. So the thing that's enjoying this right now, maybe it is a bit of spiritual ego, to be fair, but I would say my spirit was just like, it kind of just said to me like, dude, finally released that desire for stuff from the outside. Just like, you're enjoying yourself now. You're just, being that kind of self-satisfied, as we said. The thing is, though, that was a little bit annoying was it didn't last. I really wanted it to last. And it kind of did. It had a bit of a residual effect. When you've maybe had a spiritual experience and you have one of those kind of glows or that kind of feeling of ease, or maybe you're just detached from stuff, because you've had that spiritual experience. But at the same time, something did change. On the way back, I actually felt social freedom. So I don't know if you've ever had that where you are out and about and you just don't really care about how you come across socially. It's almost as if you feel socially invincible and you can speak to whoever, you can say whatever, you're just kind of free. And I felt this. And I think one reason I did is because when you stop caring about wanting things from other people, one of those things could be needing to look or come across a certain way. So a kind of social recognition, you could say, or social kind of validation. And I think I didn't really feel a need for that as much after this experience, which was really, really pleasant. I just didn't really feel like I needed to look too cool or be checked out by that person or whatever. I was just kind of doing my thing and I enjoyed that, It was really peaceful actually because I just finally got to do me. And again, even when I say that, I'm like, was there really a me? It honestly felt like there was much less of a me there. Because as you know, the whole point of this spiritual work, well, there's many points, but one of the biggest things we're doing is we're looking to quieten that experience of me or that sense of me. Because as you know, it's not about me. And I noticed that I just felt so much more authentic, so much more myself. Because deep down, I kind of feel like who I am, and I'm sure you're the same. You don't need anything from anyone. You are good by yourself. You can express yourself or walk a certain way or just do whatever. You can run, you can dance, you can skip. It doesn't really matter about what you're doing. You can just be you and you can just do that and you don't have to worry and you don't need stuff from the outside. And of course, huge meta point, stuff from the outside isn't coming from the outside. It's the stuff within that you're projecting out. It's never actually found out there. It's in here, like everything, right here. You're just projecting it outward and you're not seeing that. One of the things that we do as we get really serious about this work is we see the mechanism by which stuff seems like it's out there, but really it's just within you, and you're just projecting it outward. And so you just want to become really conscious of that. Notice it. Is it out there? No, it's not. The root is in here. Always go to the root. That's wise. Anyway, I've spoken about a bunch of different stuff. The essence of this video is this. It is possible to let go of needing things, stuff from other people. And it is you who gives yourself this experience. And when you give it to yourself, because no one else can, by the way, you show yourself, wow, this work is good. This work makes me feel self-sufficient, independent, complete, whole, good on my own. That's what you want. So go for that, follow that, enjoy that. My friend, I hope you've enjoyed this one. Take care, lots of love, and my friend.